Yep. Welcome back to Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. Last time we finished case 3. It turns out the Duke was the one behind it. But we didn't get to arrest him because we didn't have any evidence. But our client was found not guilty. So we got that. And also, like, everyone kind of knows that he did it, even if you didn't indict him. I couldn't say that word last time either. Indict, right? We couldn't find him guilty. That's what I'm trying to say. Now we're starting case 4. Okay, it's interesting that case 4 seems like it's starting in the court from the beginning. Usually case 4 in the Ace Attorney games is a little weird. Because they usually do something a little bit different with case 4. Like either, sometimes it's like case 4 and 5 are like the same case, just like stretched out across like 2 chapters. Sometimes it's that case 4 is like a mini case, where you only get to do the trial segment and there's no investigation. Sometimes it's just a normal case too, but sometimes, I think even usually, it's a little different. So we'll see what's in store. And in the kingdom of Warvengard, there was a gulf between what was lawful and what was just. Here, ideals were just fairy tales. They were pleasant to think about, they distracted from how the world really was. You're naive, but I've been starting to think that if everyone else was like you, the world wouldn't be the way it was. But the world was the way it was. Not even you, with all your special divine powers, could change that. Can't believe Cuthbert used the Eye of Horus on the client. Are you gonna play as Ruby? He's becoming more and more reckless, and I think McCoy is just making him worse. I wonder what he was like with his real mother. He's definitely nothing like Ryan was. Ryan? Is that our dad? Adopting him was a mistake. Oh, is something wrong tomorrow? Beatrice. Oh wait, we've heard this name before. Oh god, why have I heard the name Beatrice? This was mentioned in this game, I'm almost certain. Because I remember making a joke about like, oh, you mean Echo, haha. Oh god, I forget. No, it's nothing. Well, the trial's about to begin, and all of our futures are at stake. Of course, miss. Actually, what do you go by now? I prefer just Beatrice, but I'll be using my legal name anyway. You look like Miriam. Oh, Beatrice mothered some kind of mantra before clapping her hands together. She's been doing that a lot since we met. Must have been some kind of meditative ritual for her. Oh, hello, Eris. I couldn't help but side-eye Eris. I was a little annoyed with how careless she was being. Is something wrong tomorrow? I'd just like to know what you think you're doing here. My father sent me to accompany Beatrice to the courthouse. It's a new environment for her. We need to keep her condition in mind after all. Her condition. Do I have any evidence? And beautiful crossed out. Okay, these descriptions are still written from the point of view of Tyrion. Like it says my bodyguard. Like this isn't Ruby that wrote this. My mentor and legal guardian, yeah. I wasn't so convinced. Her father had a lot more sense than that. Not to mention that Eris always liked stirring up trouble. How much do you know her? She took a lot of pleasure in complicating my job. It was apparently her favorite pastime. And the boss, the doting father that he was, just let her do as she pleased. Yeah, so you know her dad, who is the eye taker. I hope you understand how much you're risking by being seen with me. You're already pushing it when you approach us at the academy. Don't you think you're worrying too much? You've been preparing for this, haven't you? Just keep your head low and make sure no one connects you to your father. You know how important this trial is. Why? Would knowing my true identity cause friction with your son? He's not my... Oh, speak of the devil. I spotted Cuthbert and McCoy walking into the courtroom with the other members of the gallery. When does this take place? I guess after a little argument. He wanted to see how this trial would turn out. Her little argument. McCoy spotted me and gave me a friendly yet uncomfortable smile. Cuthbert froze for a moment before looking away and walking silently into the courtroom. Parental troubles. This takes place at least after case 2, because Eris mentioned... Or they mentioned that Eris came at the academy to see them. We had a disagreement earlier. It's nothing to worry about. If you say so. I was worried about what he saw in Beatrice's mind. He'd always been a good kid, but he was also really stubborn. It clouded his judgment sometimes. He had been practicing law for very long. It didn't help that his strings of victories was getting to his head. But I was sure that once he'd seen enough of what the courts were really like, he'd understand why I needed to do this. Are you, like, gonna forge evidence or something? The trial's about to begin. Do you really have the time to be making small talk here? Prosecutor Stillman approached the three of us, tailed by a familiar face. Oh, hello. Wallace was your name, right? Wallace Snaggrave. He's accompanying me as my aide for this case. Your aide? So can I assume you'll be prosecuting? Of course. I would never pass up the opportunity to face the infamous Ruby tomorrow. I'm also the only prosecutor in this entire country. Really, if I remember correctly, you haven't even beaten Tyrion once so far. True. But it seemed that struck a nerve. I might be able to use that later. Like, Miss Stillwind, don't strain yourself. What's that look for, Beatrice? Are you fine? Are you fine working with Arya? She like tried to... she like tried really hard to have you incarcerated, you know? You seem almost surprised to see me here. Considering the circumstances, I thought you might recuse yourself. I'm more than capable of remaining objective, especially for a case of this much importance. Well, I hope your mind is as strong as you think it is. Miss Stillwind. Nagav looked unusually reprimanding and concerned for her. He was really averse to confrontation, wasn't he? Oh, I love a good reunion. Sigh. The deck was already stacked in their favor. I just need to follow through and get this over and done with. After that, we would finally have everything we needed to topple the 4 pillars. I don't think it's gonna go as planned. Oh, he's standing there. Court is not in session for the trial of Beatrice Frege. Oh, she is a Frege. Okay, that's why she looks like Miriam. Miss Stillwind, is the prosecution ready? The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. She definitely looked less self-assured than usual. Her history with Beatrice might be throwing her off. Her history with Beatrice, Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Stillwind, could you please list the charges? Your Honor, the defendant is charged with first-degree murder and grand theft. As many of you know, Beatrice Frege is the formerly missing daughter of the now late William Frege. Formerly missing? Oh. Okay. And the victim of the murder is William Frege himself. Oh, we didn't hear about this? Wait, William Frege as in the guy that was... Oh, this guy's dead, okay. What the fuck? Huh. Okay, this is a big case. Yes, I'm well aware of that. The people of Warrengard will certainly mourn the loss of House Frege's head. Please, the only people who mourned him were the banking house's shareholders. On that matter, did you also say that the defendant is accused of grand theft? Yes, Your Honor. The crimes took place during the Lord's Ball, an event that was hosted in Frege Manor yesterday evening. The Herald Sun Hall of History was hosting an exhibit within the manor. They were showcasing several magical artifacts donated to the Warrengard Historical Society. One of these items was the Sword of a Spell Eating, a magical artifact that allows its wielder to nullify magical effects. Interesting. When wielded by a creature, that creature and anything connected to them, physically or magically, are immune to all harmful magical effect. Legends say that it was forged through a blood contract between a mage and a demon. Are there demons in this world? Okay, what do you mean by connected to them? Like, do you just mean like my clothes would be immune to magic also? Or like, if I'm holding hands with someone, would that person also be immune to magic? Or is it like a metaphorical connection? Like, I'm not sure. The prosecution believes that the defendant stole this item to break into the victim's study, which was secured with a magical lock. After breaking into the study, she attacked the victim and slashed his throat open using a leather opener. Why wouldn't you use the giant sword she was holding instead of a leather opener? He died of blood loss shortly after. At 3:12 a.m., cause of death was blood loss after his throat was slashed open. 3:12 a.m., huh? What was he doing there? At 3:12 a.m. Both carotid arteries were severed, meaning that death must have fallen mere seconds after the wound was inflicted. Okay. Body shows several scratch marks on the face and back. Risks of illusion magic were also found on the body. Okay. And we didn't find anything under his fingernail, so it's not like he scratched his own face, right? I see. Does the prosecution have a motive? William Frege and his daughter were not close. Saying that they had a strained relationship would be an understatement. In fact, 5 years prior to the murder, Beatrice abandoned and fled her home. She went into hiding and cut contact with all of her friends and family. Her whereabouts were unknown until she contacted her father a week ago. Objection! Ooh, that's a cool animation. My client left the Frege household because of her toxic relationship with her father. She wanted to create a life for herself that was free from his influence and abuse. I won't disagree with your claim. That simply highlights how desperate the defendant must have been. Yeah, that's not really good for you. She's clearly fallen on hard times and begrudgingly contacted her father for financial aid. I have no idea why they would schedule this meeting during the yearly Lord's Ball, but nevertheless, several witnesses did see her that night. And these same witnesses saw her storming out of her father's study in anger. Her father must have refused her request for aid, so she decided to murder him to claim his inheritance. Where was the sword found? Was it found, like, near the victim, or...? Or do we not know where it is because it was stolen? I guess we still don't know where it is, right? Okay, sure. Her father must have refused her request for aid, so she decided to murder him to claim his inheritance. Okay. It's a good thing we prepared for this. Beatrice Frigga fled from her family 5 years ago and went into hiding. In retaliation, William Frigga told Miriam Frigga that he would remove Beatrice from his will. As a result, she wouldn't receive any inheritance after his death. As per your agreement, this testimony will be confirmed by Miriam Frigga in court. Okay. What you're saying is all conjecture still, and you don't have any evidence to confirm why my client contacted her late father. Yes, I'm well aware that the defendant has refused to tell us what they discussed. And be honest, Dylan, do you seriously think that my client committed these crimes in spite of her condition? Condition? What do you mean by that, Mr. Moore? Why don't you tell him, Stillwind? Tell the court about my client's disability. Your Honor, Beatrice Frigga is legally disabled. However, in what way? Legally disabled? That's a convenient way of putting it, Stillwind. My client is completely blind. Oh, okay. Completely blind, is this true? We have several medical documents and testimony from several chirurgeons? Chirurgeons? How do you say this word? Chirurgeon. Okay, chirurgeon. Chirurgeon is attesting to that fact. My client is unable to see anything. Beatrice's blindness. He is unable to see anything through her eyes. This has been verified through several medical reports and qualifies as chirurgeons. Okay, but the prince did say that, in the last case, the crown prince did say that, hello, Miriam. The prince said that he could feel magic, because he was such a skilled mage, he could, like, feel magic around him. So, she could still, like, kind of see stuff like that, right? What is the meaning of this, Miss Tillman? Do you expect me to believe that a blind woman performed any of the acts you're accusing her of? I'm glad you also see how ridiculous these claims are, Your Honor. If the court would just let me elaborate. Your Honor, the prosecution's first charge is grand theft. My client would have needed to break into a display case that was magically secured. Performing such an act would be a difficult task for anyone, much less my client. The second charge is first-degree murder. My client would have needed to use the sword of spell-eating on a lock leading to the victim's study. Then she would have needed to grab a letter opener, overpower the victim, and deliver a precise and fatal blow to the victim's neck. Does any of that sound like a reasonable theory, Your Honor? I'm compelled to agree with you, Mr. Moore. That sounds quite ludicrous, to be perfectly honest. I like how we can see that Ruby is a lot better at rhetoric than Tyrion is. This is just awful. His villains have always been at odds with the Friggas, just taking advantage of the Duke's death. Objection! Enough. Your Honor, the court has not seen the evidence that supports this case, nor have you listened to the Inquisition's testimony regarding their investigation. Until you have done so, you're in no position to pass judgment. Very well, Miss Dillon. I guess the little lady had some claws after all. But it did matter. The case against Beatrice was questionable at best. Frankly, it was surprising that Dillon even went through with this. It was only a matter of time before the judge saw things my way. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Oran to the stand. Not this fucking guy. Commander White, please testify to the court about the Inquisition's findings. Right. We don't want to cause a panic after the sword was stolen, so we activated the Manor's silent security system. It put an anti-magic field over the entire Manor. Okay. Okay. Question. Can the sword of spell eating eat the anti-magic field so that I could cast magic? Like, does that work? We did a search of the house and we found the stolen sword in the defendant's bedroom. It didn't look like she was going to run, and Crown Prince Aster told us to stand down, so we just kept a close eye on her. William Frigga was in a bad mood that night. He already locked himself inside his study. But an hour later, we entered the study and found him lying dead in a pool of his own blood. Wait, I'm sorry. What? You found the sword in the defendant's bedroom before he was dead? What do you, so if you just kept a close eye on her, how did she kill him? Are you stupid? The lock was still engaged and no one teleported in. The bird must have temporarily disabled the lock using the sword of spell eating. Okay, I guess you can temporarily disable it. So I guess if you disable like an artificery with this, it'll be disabled for a while, but then it'll come back, I guess, from the way he's talking about it. We have testimonies that the defendant was seriously in debt. I guess she murdered the victim to get a part of his inheritance. Okay, well, you have a contradiction for that, obviously. The case against Beatrice was just as I predicted. I already had a countermeasure to disprove the existence of any motive. I'd like to present that to the court. Yeah, I do want to press that one statement, because that seems really weird. You kept a close eye on her? And why would the prince tell you to stand down? That's not the point I have a question about. Well, Crown Prince asked her to meet the defendant well. He was confident that she wasn't going to flee the scene. Are you sure that he just knew her well? If I recall correctly, the prince is still very adamant about her innocence. The Crown Prince is vouching for the defendant? Is this true, Miss Tilland? It is. However, I believe that the evidence found throughout the investigation proves the contrary. Are you sure your judgment isn't simply being clouded by your jealousy? Your fiancé was previously engaged to my client after all. Ooh. You're enjoying this a bit too much. I guess I'm still hung up on this. Like, if you kept a close eye on her, how are you saying that she even sneaked out and killed William? Like, I don't know. It seems weird.
Objection.
Your Honor, the prosecution's case against my client is riddled with holes, and the prosecution's proposed motive is the largest among them. What do you mean, Mr. Moore? Of all the elements in this case, the motive is the most believable. The client would have had much to gain through her father's inheritance. That may be, but that's assuming my client had anything to inherit at all. What? Your Honor, my client fled from her psychologically abusive father 5 years ago. Wilmfrego was a petty and vindictive man. Do you honestly think that he'd leave his inheritance to someone who disobeyed him so egregiously? No, he'd do everything in his power to make sure she didn't see a shred of his wealth. Yes, we're already well aware of this. And once she slammed her cane down, I noticed her wince a little. She was getting more and more heated. I didn't realize her rivalry with Beatrice was that personal. Is that it? On the night of the murder, the victim made the decision to disinherit the defendant. Maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like Arya would be the kind of person who would try to convince someone because she's jealous that she was dating her fiancé in the past. That seems very petty. The victim made the decision to disinherit the defendant. However, his murder deprived him of the opportunity to submit his will to his attorney. This only further proves the defendant's motive. She needed to act quickly lest her father submit the changes to his will. I'm afraid you're mistaken, Sylvan. Wilmfrego didn't disinherit my client that night. He disinherited my client 5 years ago when she left. I have witness testimony from Miriam Frego, William's youngest daughter. By her own admission, her father disinherited my client before she fled the household. That's why she left. What? She never brought that up during questioning. Why would she release that information to one of her family's enemies? If you don't believe me, why don't we call her to this town and ask her ourselves? What have you done, Tamara? I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, it's clear we won't get anyone until we hear from Miriam directly. Yeah, please escort Miriam Frego to this town. Okay. The fact that there's a question mark here and it says as per your agreement, I think this evidence is fake. I think this is forged evidence. Like they just Ruby and Miriam and Beatrice just agreed to do this beforehand, but in reality this isn't true. I'm pretty sure. Miriam, is the defense correct? Did your father disinherit Beatrice 5 years ago? Yes. Okay, she's a terrible liar. And you didn't think it was necessary to share this information with me? Well, you never asked. If I recall correctly, you were also tight-lipped during questioning this morning. The witness had just lost her father. You can hardly expect her to recall every detail that's relevant to his murder. Which raises a more concerning question. How did you extract this information? Who knows? I've always had a way with people. Miriam, please testify to the court about how you found out about Beatrice's disinheritance. Yes, of course. That was probably what Ruby's argument with Tyrion was. It's probably because Tyrion found out that she was going to use forged evidence, and he was really against that. After my sister's accident, my father said that she was unfit to inherit her noble house. He declared to her family that he would be removing her from his will. It was 5 years ago, but I remember it well. One day, we all woke up and discovered that Beatrice had fled from her home. She left a note for us, and in it, she renounced her name and denounced my father. And are you sure this all happened 5 years ago? Yes, even now, I can remember everything clearly. I see. Her speech was getting slower, and I could have sworn that the words were slurring. Nagrave seemed extremely concerned for some reason. And Laife was there with you at this meeting? Yes, she was. However, Laife couldn't have possibly been there. She was starting to swear as if she couldn't keep her balance. Was this trial getting to her? Hey, are you okay? Of course, Oh. What? By the scaled lord, is that blood? Bailiff, find anyone capable of casting healing magic. Escort them to the courtroom immediately. After some scrambling, a couple of healers were able to help Nightgrave stabilize the prosecutor. In all the chaos, I caught a glimpse of her. There were deep wounds and lacerations in several parts of her body. Jesus. She must have used some kind of illusion to hide them, but the mages dispelled it to identify her wounds. They took Stolen out of the courtroom on the stretcher, but as they were doing that, she grabbed Nightgrave and rasped something into his ear. He looked confused, but he simply nodded and made his way to the witness stand. Not before passing a message on to bailiff, who seemed equally confused. Mr. Nightgrave, explain yourself. What is going on? Why would Miss Dillon prosecute if she was so gravely injured? I'm sorry, but I wasn't actually here as Miss Dillon's aide. I was here as her doctor. Your doctor? The truth is that Miss Dillon was violently attacked at noon today. She was in critical condition, but she insisted on prosecuting the case anyways. She suddenly showed up at my house and asked me to channel my necromancy to keep her wound closed during the trial. Why you of all people? Scared Lord, why didn't she just recuse herself? She must have known. If anyone else tried to prosecute Beatrice, I would have handily won the trial. Nevertheless, she showed up when no one else would, and she did it all despite the risk to her life. It almost made me respect her a little. Almost. Anyways, is there any need to prolong this trial, Your Honor? What? Even you must have acknowledged how weak the case against my client is. In addition to that, Miriam's testimony showed that my client had nothing to gain from her father's death. Miss Tamara, Miss Dillon has been gravely injured, and you're still only concerned about... The only thing I'm concerned about is seeking justice for my client. Even so, we cannot move forward until we find another prosecutor. And how long do you think that will take, Your Honor? It's been nearly 12 hours since the murder took place. That gives us, what, 36 hours? After that, every magical trace at the crime scene will fully disappear. But there might be someone... Are we gonna call Tyrion to be the prosecutor? If Dillon had simply allowed another prosecutor to work this case, we wouldn't be in this situation. She took a risk, and now she has to take responsibility for that. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? I wasn't completely proud of winning this way, but I wouldn't let an opportunity like this pass me by. The judge was clearly unhappy with this turn of events, but Dillon didn't leave him any choice. It seems that there aren't any prosecutors available to immediately take Miss Dillon's place. We'll take a brief recess. After that, I'll deliver my verdict. Okay, it doesn't seem like you were the one that put the hit on Arya. Because you seem to be surprised at that also. But it was probably Eris, right? Or her dad, the eye taker.
Objection!
Oh yeah, there we go. Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. This is like case 6-5, right? The last case in Spirit of Justice. Mr. Cuthbert. Cuthbert, what the hell are you doing? I don't know. What I do know is that there was a massive contradiction in Miriam Frigga's testimony. Oh, okay, let's save. Oh. One day earlier. Oh man, I was getting into it. Come on. Miriam, you're back. Oh, this is Life. Oh, you're also a Frigga. You don't have blue hair though. Oh, hello, Life. How have you been faring? I heard about what happened to Professor Bellwether. I'm terribly sorry. That must have been an awful ordeal for you. Yes, thank you. But I've heard about your independent studies with the Crown Prince. Father's extremely proud of you. Miriam just scoffed at the obvious lie. It's been so long since you've been back at the manor. I was thinking we could have some tea together in the garden before the guests arrive. Is this your mom? No, she's 18. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm already exhausted from the trip here. I think I'd like to rest in my room and prepare for the Lord's Ball tonight. Okay, but let me know if you change your... Laffy wasn't even finished before her sister walked past her and then entered her room. Case 4, Severed Ties. Oh, is this the real start to Case 4? Oh, I feel so out of place here. Despite my clear issues with Wardenguard's upper class, I somehow found myself at the party filled with them. How do you just happen to be at the exact location that all these murders take place? I think we should be investigating you. I hardly recognized anyone, but from all the looks I was getting, they clearly recognized me. Why are you in the corner by yourself? I can't believe I let you talk me into coming here. Oh, Jesus. Everyone is. You look very pretty. That's my train of thought. I've been wanting to wear this dress for a while now. What do you think? Oh, it's that bad, huh? What am I supposed to do when he looks at me like that? No, you look... stunning, beautiful, breathtaking? Probably beautiful. Several words came to mind, all of which would be mortifying if I said them out loud. Is it? I think it's pretty normal. Good, you look good. Well, I look good? That's a start. It's almost as if she had the ability to read my thoughts. She couldn't actually do that, could she? I mean, I had the ability to read people's minds, so logic would dictate that I'm not the only one. Hmm? What if she could read my mind? What if she was reading it right now? Am I interrupting something? Mr. Mora. Celeste and I quietly stepped away from each other when my mentor suddenly appeared. I wanted to check in on you two before we went to meet with the Duke. I spotted Mr. Moore's client following behind her. It was hard to read her. The Eye of Horus couldn't glean anything from her mind. Her poise barely shifted. She carried herself with the grace of someone who didn't seem easily rattled. Her expression was calm yet distant. Even when we made eye contact, it felt like she was just staring through me. This was my first time meeting her, but she still looked familiar for some reason. She looks like Miriam. Hi, I'm Tyrion. I'm Miss Demora's ward. I extended my hand to shake hers. She seemed a little unapproachable. I hope that I wasn't being too forward. Instead of taking my hand, she clapped her hands together and took a deep breath. What? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit of a habit of mine. Oh, I'm Beatrice. I've heard much about you. The mysterious woman seems to be related to House Frege, one of the Four Pillar families. She's currently working with Mr. Mora to negotiate some kind of deal with William Frege. She shook my hand before looking to Mr. Mora. I wasn't sure about the details, but my mentor was brokering a deal between Beatrice and William Frege. There are many elements of that which I found puzzling, but my mentor was tight-lipped as always. Did you kill William? Is that what happened? Did you kill someone, Ruby? We're going to have to Frege study. Can you two stay out of trouble while we're gone? Oh, come on, it's not like we always go looking for it. You two always seem to find trouble anyways. Cuthbert, we're in a manor filled with the highest member of the nobility. We're going to meet some familiar and unfriendly faces. Don't worry, we'll keep it low profile, Mr. Moore. So, why were you insistent on accompanying Mr. Moore to the Lord's Ball? You know you can tell me anything, right? Everything that happened in Ornax made me think about things. Every noble in the kingdom attends this ball. I thought maybe whoever left me at my family's tavern would be here. But being here is starting to make me feel weird. The McCoys are my real family. Looking for the people who abandoned me feels wrong. I don't think that's true. Really? I wouldn't be the person I am today without Mr. Moore, but I still keep the memory of my mother close to me too. Okay, but it's different if you literally don't know your parents. I kind of agree with her. Like, if you literally have never met your real parents, like, meeting them doesn't really, I don't know. They're just strangers at that point. I don't think it's disrespectful to find out more about yourself, and I'm sure your mother will understand. You think so? I'm sure of it. And I'm also sure of another thing. If I'm with you, I doubt any of the nobles here will want to speak with you. Yeah, I didn't want to be rude, but don't worry, I can find something to fill the time. You're just going to play chess alone somewhere, aren't you? Maybe. You really need to learn to talk to other people. Make some new friends or something. In a room full of nobles? I'm sure they're not all bad. Arya's pretty great, right? Aster too. She had a point, but I was never really one to make small talk with strangers. I looked around the room of nobles. I recognized some of them from a news article I had read over the years. There were also some people there who were around my age. It must have been the children of the noble heads. I could approach them. The chances were that one of them would be an arrogant pig. The thought of everything that could go wrong was paralyzing. It's fine. I don't need more friends. I spend most of my time with you anyway. That's enough for me. Well, I'm going to try to talk to some people. Yeah, I'll see you later. Do they not know who you are? You're like always around us. I would assume that you would be in the papers too. But maybe not. Celeste left to mingle with some of the other party goers. I was almost envious of how easily she could do that. I really wish I could strike up conversation with random strangers the same way she could. It was fine. She had her strengths, and so did I. But that only made me wish I could be there with her. Stop it. She was her own person. She was perfectly capable of handling herself. I would need to find something past the time. To pass the time. I think it's missing a 2 here. My hand instinctively went to meet satchel. To my satchel. Two typos in a row? I thought about bringing out my chessboard, but if I did that here, I'd just turn out even more. I tried to find somewhere where I can be alone. Each table had a centerpiece of flowers on it. Most of the seats at the table were filled. It didn't look like I'd be able to play here. Several gold-tinted chandeliers hung from the ceiling of the ballroom. They looked fancy enough to be worth a small fortune. It irked me knowing how much wealth the Duke must have been hoarding to afford all of this. Oh, we can't cast Detect Magic because Celeste is in here. This place looks pretty quiet, but there aren't any tables anywhere. I could play on the floor. Oh, hello. What the? As I was walking through the hallway of the manor, I suddenly came face to face with a large animal. Before I could even realize what I was looking at, the creature quickly scampered away. Rita's mine! Did someone leave a door open? I thought about telling someone, but the manor was full of nobles. I was sure that a servant would spot it eventually. It wasn't as if anyone would believe me anyway. Either way, it would be best to look for somewhere else to play. Was that a dog or a wolf? I couldn't tell. There were several jewels mounted on the walls, and they were all equidistant from each other. I already knew that the house Frege was wealthy, but embedding jewels into the walls made the manor look a little tacky. They even had gold-tinted chandeliers in their hallways. It was ridiculous when I really thought about it. Oh, there's the sword. I continued exploring the manor and found myself in a room with several displays. It looked like a gallery of some kind, but it was slightly out of place here. There were a few nobles in the room, and they were all silently appreciating the exhibits. William Frege must have paid a museum to display some historical exhibits for the Lord's Ball. There's a face I haven't seen before. Oh, hello. He wore the vestment of an archaeologist, carrying 2 large satchels crammed with tools, maps, and other instruments. His hair was white and his skin was wrinkled, but he walked with the youth and spirit of someone who had a much longer life ahead of him. Although all these features were far less notable than the monkey hanging off his back. Is that what that is? The small orangutan tilted his head as he looked at me curiously. When I looked directly at him, he hid himself behind the old man's shoulder, peeking at me from behind it. I'm Harold Haroldson. I'm the creator of this collection. Harold Haroldson, okay. Is that a name, a pseudonym or something? Nope. Oh, okay. The leader of House Haroldson, he appears to be an archaeologist and historian. His noble house owns the Arlton Hall of History located in Hammerit. That's a lot of H. That can't actually be his real name. I see. Wait, as the curator of this museum, he must have known a lot of myths and history. I wondered, how much do you know about the myths and the cultures of nations other than Warvengard? His eyes narrowed, even his monkey eyed me suspiciously. I know you. Your name is Cuthbert, isn't it? It's never a good sign whenever someone recognizes me. You're not exactly a friend of the nobility. I have to ask why you're here. I'm accompanying my mentor. She has business with someone here. He eyed me warily, but his stare didn't carry the usual disdain I received from other nobles. I swear on the Scaled Lord, I'm telling the truth. The Scaled Lord is not someone whose name you should invoke so lightly. Oh, my bad. But it sounds like you're telling the truth. I just can't help but wonder why you're interested in the other nations, though. I knew to tread carefully. He seemed nice, but he was still a noble. The kingdom scoured any available knowledge on the other nations. It was difficult to find anything on the celestial gods. But I didn't get many opportunities like this. I'm trying to learn more about the celestial gods. That's not something I make a habit of telling people, especially someone in your position. I know, but it's been impossible to find any information about them. I really need to find out more. Can you help me? Sigh, I guess I can't exactly say no to such a curious mind. I'll help you the best I can, but don't let anyone know about this. Sharing this information is technically outlawed by the kingdom. This book could put all of us in danger. How did Eris know about it then? It's probably some sort of scientist. The man is Dr. Luke Cuthbert, who's an alchemist and inventor from the nation of Arcturus. He's well known for his studies into imbuing intelligence into automatons. Intelligent automatons, would that make them similar to arcane constructs? Yes, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Lord Von Sanctus used Dr. Cuthbert's research to create those constructs. I doubt he even created them. He seems to importing all of them from Arcturus. Okay, third typo. Lots of typos in this chapter, and taking credit for their work. It's a painting of a researcher. That is Professor Matt Furlan. He was a professor of some renown. He was a researcher of combinatorial magic theory. What's that? It's a study of how different types of magic interact with each other. He famously ran an experiment on what would happen if two anti-magic fields overlapped each other. Okay, this might be relevant to the case. That's actually pretty interesting. What were the results of the experiment? Well, they had mages enter the space where the two fields overlapped. It turns out that those mages were able to use their magic in that space. Interesting. Okay, so... Wait, how would that be possible? They would have had two anti-magic fields affecting them. When the two fields overlap, they cancel each other out. I've heard that it's akin to multiplying two negative numbers together. Okay. Is that foreshadowing? Because the sword nullifies magic. And we said that when the defense system activated, that an anti-magic field was put over the entire mansion, right? So would that mean that if you use the sword on something while the anti-magic field was activated, then that thing would be able to use magic? Maybe? I don't know. It's a pair of metallic armbands. There are several magical runes carved onto them. Those are the armbands of intellect. They were actually created by a member of House Frege many centuries ago. Centuries, that would mean these armbands predate the invention of artificery. That's correct. Legends say that whoever wrote these armbands would be granted unparalleled levels of intellect. Does it work? Many believe that House Frege created these to help them unlock the secrets of magic. Armbands of intellect are an ancient artifact. When worn by a creature, that creature's intelligence would be increased beyond the limits of an average human. Legends say that it was forged by a member of House Frege to further their study of magic. Okay, but does it actually work, or is it just a legend? It's a pair of golden earrings. There are small jewels embedded in each of them. I call them the Earrings of Vitality. They're an artifact I found in the ruins of a large Luminite temple. Whoever wears those would have their lifespan increased tenfold. Okay, while you're wearing them, or can you just wear them for a second and then take them off? I'm sure it's just a legend, though. Did you read that from some ancient text? Not exactly. I didn't even know that there were Luminite temples in Warvengard. Almost all of them have been completely demolished by the kingdom over the years. A lot of Warvengard's territory once belonged to the theocracy. The kingdom would rather have everyone forget that. When worn by a creature, that creature's wounds will slowly heal over time. Furthermore, its holder's lifespan increases tenfold for as long as they're worn. Harold Haroldson found these in the ruins of an old Luminite temple. Okay. crimson red short sword. That's a sort of spell eating. Doesn't say that it has the power to nullify any kind of magic. Nullify, you say? Like some kind of nullifying field? So it's like an anti-magic field. Okay, they're really being on the nose with it. In a way, but it has less than heroic origins. It's said that the sword was created through a blood pact between a mage and a demon. A demon? Demons are terrible and powerful creatures. They exist solely to sow chaos and oppose the gods. Okay, so demons do exist. Is Eris a demon? They supposedly took great pride in their ability to deceive and corrupt people. That doesn't say that most demons have the power to absorb and nullify magic. Many have theorized that the demon imbued some of that power into the sword. Into all harmful magical effects. Doesn't say it was forged for a block contract between mage and demon. Is it safe to put something like this on display? No worry, these displays are fortified with several abjuration spells. I bet even Lord Stillwind would have trouble getting into this. Layer of abjuration spell. Even a highly skilled mage would have trouble breaking into them. Okay. I definitely feel like my hunch about like double negative with the spell eating sword and the anti-magic field, I definitely feel like that's going to be correct, and that's going to come back later. But I don't know, because I didn't have to investigate this painting, right? Like, it didn't give me any piece of evidence. I could have skipped this in theory, and I would have not known that that's how that worked. I don't know. That's probably still how it works, though. Oh, what's this? A rare artifact? It's an attorney's runestone. It proves that I'm a certified attorney. Ah, all my colleagues have similar devices. They're so enamored with all these newfangled functions. Well, you won't catch me chasing a passing fad like that. So what's a historian doing at the Lord's Ball, Lord Haroldson? Harold. Oh, okay, Mr. Harold. Harold. He was being really stubborn about this. It'd be best to just go with it. My apologies, Harold. The Duke of Finance invites my museum to set up some displays here every year. Must think it adds a semblance of culture to Philistine. It's a Haroldson Hall of History, located in the city of Homerith. This is too many H's. Haroldson Hall of History in Homerith. I can't pronounce this. Unfortunately, I don't think his guests appreciate the historical significance of these items. Honestly, I think you're the only person in years who's taken a meaningful interest in them. Sorry, but I really have to ask, is that a monkey riding on your back? I looked at the animal, but he quickly avoided eye contact with me and hid behind Harold's shoulder. Yes, this is my familiar, Eugene. Oh, you cast familiar bond on him. I'm surprised you know about it. It's quite rare. Very few mages take the time to learn how to catch that. Yeah, I remember. And when you have familiar bond, you can telepathically communicate with your animal. Any spells that affect the caster will also affect the target creature and vice versa. So if you were to put on the fucking rings of intelligence, would your monkey also become super smart because he's affected by the same spells that you are? The caster can also cast spells from the location of the target creature instead of their own location. This seems like a really, really useful spell. I'm surprised you say that most people don't bother learning this. Eugene helps me with my day-to-day. These old bones aren't as spry as they used to be, after all. Harold, what do you know about the Celestial Gods? I haven't been able to find anything about them. That makes sense. They're primarily worshipped by the people of the Theocracy of Lumina. I might explain why worship of them was outlawed. Lumina was the kingdom west of us, but I knew very little about them. All I knew was that we fought them during the First War of Warvengard, and then later during the Great Luminite War. They've been Warvengard's long-standing enemy for a while. Simply asking about them could raise suspicion of treason. There are 9 celestial gods, each representing a divine domain in heaven. Deus, Odin, Machina, Horus. I'm sorry, one of them is named Horus? Yes, Horus the Lightbringer. He's the god of radiance and ruler of the 6th domain in heaven. I thought I just made that name up when I was younger. Horus was real? Something wrong? No, I was just thinking about what you said. You probably heard it from your mom, right? Could you tell me more about Horus? As I said, he's the god of radiance. The sun and the concept of light lies within his domain. I also said that to embody the virtues of truth, justice, and life itself, he is the enemy of lies. It's a little unnerving how much of a chord that struck with me. It also reminded me of something. Did I mean that naught could remain concealed from him? Some legend claims so. I'll be honest, I only have so many texts available to me. My knowledge of Lumina is limited to their myths. My request to travel to Lumina have been denied for decades. There are many stories of his followers being blessed with the ability to see through lies and deception. Almost as if they had his eyes. That didn't make any sense. I didn't worship Horus. I didn't even know who he was until tonight. Why would he give me this ability? I guess it was Eris just wrong when she called it the Eye of Bahamut? In case 2? No, I need to think of this more rationally. The mages of Warmengard supposedly descended from people blessed by the Scaled Lord. Using that logic, could I have descended from people who were blessed by Ors? I guess, maybe. Are any of his followers established in Warmengard? Heavens no, the Luminites are viewed as enemies of Warmengard. I imagine any known followers would have had unfortunate accidents befall them. That might explain why my mother never talked about them with me, but I really wish she'd left me something. You're being awfully inquisitive about this. Why are you so interested in the horse and his followers? It's purely an academic curiosity. Nice one. He clearly wasn't convinced, but he didn't push the matter further. My attention was drawn to the Earrings of Vitality. They were supposedly an artifact from the ancient days of the Theocracy. Harold, would you be okay if I took a closer look at these earrings? How presumptuous. I promise I'll be careful with them. I suppose I can make an exception this time. Lord Haraldson walked up to the display case and whispered something into the runic console attached to it. I heard several magical locks disengage before he opened the display case and carefully pulled out the artifact. Okay, isn't this insanely dangerous? Like, what the fuck? I laid my hands on it so I could delicately place them in my hands. Or I laid my hands out. I carefully inspected the earrings. Each of them had a golden frame with a red luminous stone embedded at its center. They gleamed bright under the artificial light of the gallery. Almost abnormally so. Wait, there's something engraved in these earrings. What? I could barely make out the text engraved in the golden frame. It was nearly microscopic. I lie at the beginning of illumination. I lie within eternity, and I cannot be found in shadows. What am I? Lie at the beginning of illumination. I lie within eternity, and I cannot be found in shadows. Light? I don't know. A riddle? What is the solution to this riddle? The Eye of Horus? I mean, I guess it's the Eye of Horus. No? Okay, then it's the fucking the lights of creation. Nope. I lie at the beginning of illumination. I lie within eternity, and I cannot be found in shadows. There's always a trick to riddles like this. It wasn't speaking literally. Oh, it's the letter I. Okay, it's the letter I. Illumination starts with I. Eternity contains I, and there's no I in shadows. That's fucking so stupid. The earring suddenly lit up, blinding light washing over the gallery. I felt the ground disappear from under me. It felt like I was floating in water. What the fuck did you do, Tyrion? I should have been shocked and surprised, but the sensation somehow felt familiar and nostalgic. You're strayed very far from home, young one. A voice rang out from all around me. It felt like bells ringing and reverberating inside my head. You're not much of a warrior, but maybe a warrior isn't what's needed to dispel the encroaching shadows. The light within you. Why is it so reminiscent of my fallen friend? What are you talking about? Who are you? I suppose it doesn't matter from which spark that flame came. It burns bright within you like that of a burning star. Go forth and walk the path of radiance, my heavens born. A divine invocation to manifest any covenant written in blood and spirit. All will be revealed whether said covenant was forged in heaven or hell. Excuse me? I beg your pardon? Is that a spell? Oh yeah, that's a spell. Okay, that's in the school of divination. Incantation, a prayer of truth. To manifest any covenant written in blood and spirit. What the fuck does that mean? All will be revealed whether said covenant was forged in heaven or hell. Okay. What? What just happened? I was blank. I suddenly found myself back in the gallery as if awoken from a dream. You're just standing there, staring at nothing. Didn't you see that blinding light? There was that loud voice too. I didn't say anything. I see those earrings? Right, of course. I don't see the engraving you were talking about. I know it's small, but it's right. As I took another look at the earrings, I realized the riddle had disappeared. The golden frame was smooth and unblemished. It was as if the text had never been there. So the riddle to unlock this like divine spell was like the kind of riddle you'd see at the back of a cereal box. Like the answer was the letter I. I feel like it would have been a more meaningful riddle. I don't know. What? Was I just seeing things? I thought you hallucinated such a specific riddle. Am I being pranked? Did someone from the Historical Society put you up to this? No, it was... What's going on? Did that riddle have something to do with the Eye of Horus? I hope Celeste's investigation was going better than mine. How dare you insinuate such a thing? I wasn't trying to insult you, I just... Enough, if you try to speak with me again, I'll have you arrested for harassment. The noblewoman stormed off in a huff. Celeste just let out an exalted sigh. Every conversation hadn't gone any differently. This isn't working. I don't think asking them like that will be very effective. Are you going to be in a dress too? What? Oh, she is. Damn, she looks very different in this outfit. Do you expect anyone here to be truthful with you? It's actually asking them if they engage in adultery. Oh, hey Arya. I'm surprised to see you here. You're not party crashing, are you? Of course not. I came here with Ruby and Tyrion. That honestly just raises more questions, but I'll take your word for it. I don't know if it's any of our business, but you should think about whether this is what you truly want. What? I still wanting to find out more about yourself, but getting entangled in the aristocracy will only bring you misery. I should know. I just want to know more about where I came from, and it might help me understand all this weirdness inside me. I don't think you're weird at all. I quite enjoy your company. Really? I'm sure Mr. Cuthbert feels the same way. Really? Is something wrong? No, it's just that... Actually, what do you think about Tyrion, Arya? Well, he's a remarkable attorney. His detective skills are incredible. Frankly, I'm a little envious of his talents. I'm loath to admit that Ruby Tamara has taught him well. I meant as a person, Arya, I only know him in a professional capacity. But don't you notice how much he cares about people? I suppose he's quite dedicated to his job. But it's not just a job to him. He really cares about his clients and helping them. It doesn't matter how much danger he puts himself in. It doesn't matter who threatens him. He just keeps going, and it's honestly kind of annoying. He won't back down from anyone, even the Four Pillars. Ever since he indicted Pierce, someone has been sending people into Tyrion's home. I'm good at my job, and I'm worried I'm going to slip up one day and let him get seriously hurt. I am sorry about that. I wish I could do more to help you with that. It's fine. It's my responsibility to protect him. Have you told him how worried you've been? Okay, if he's getting targeted that often by thugs, surely you wouldn't let him like go off on his own during this party, right? Surrounded by people who want him dead? That seems very dangerous, no? I don't want to stop him from doing what he's doing, and I don't think he'd even listen if I did. That's what makes him who he is. He's helping a lot of people, inspires them too. He's amazing and courageous and caring and sweet and... Celeste? No, I don't know. Things have been really weird since Ornax. I've been meaning to ask about that. Did something happen during Draken's trial? Oh, we kind of slept together. Don't say it like that. Before marriage? No, not like that. We just slept in the same bed and held hands. Before marriage? What? I suppose everyone has different levels of libido, but you shouldn't be so reckless. Harry, I'm not going to get pregnant from holding Tyrion's hand. Even so, I'm not sure what kind of woman you think I am. I do not wish to indulge you in your lecherous tale of illicit hand-holding. Well, like you've never wanted to hold the Asterisk's hands or anything like that. I would never. I only have the utmost respect for him. Come on, I was there at the refinery. It's obvious you like him like that. Please, you're grossly exaggerating things. What if I told you he was standing right behind you? Do you honestly think I fell for such an obvious lie? What are you falling for? Ara's entire body whipped around to face her fiancé. She almost tripped as she stumbled backwards. Her voice started to break into a soft, high-pitched whimper. Your Highness! Celeste noticed how Arya's eyes were frequently darting between the Crown Prince's face and his hand. Oh, what the fuck? Hello, Lady Stillwind. Your Highness, please don't run ahead like that. Who's that? After my otherworldly encounter, I decided to head back to the ballroom and wait for Celeste. Wait, what? The Crown Prince's face in his hand. Does the Crown Prince have a child? Or is that like his younger brother or something? I was able to find a seat somewhere and it gave me a chance to think over what had happened. I'd solved some sort of riddle. It mentioned illumination and shadows. Horus was also the god of light, and those earrings were of illuminating origin. Did my other horse react to them? Lord Haraldson had probably owned those earrings for years, yet he didn't see anything. Then there was this... Actually, I had no idea what this divine edict was. Was the prayer, a riddle, an ability? Wait, can you read my mind? Is that why you're, like, freaking out? A divine invocation to manifest any covenant written in blood and spirit. What does that even mean? Just sound like some flowery nonsense the Church of Bahamut would say. If it was some kind of spell, it was nothing like the arcane spells I'd seen in compendiums. The description of those spells were far more straightforward. Yeah. Like, I just felt like the more I learned about myself, the more questions I found. Scared Lord, how long had I been staring at that girl? My eyes just locked into the first thing across the room, but it was clear she noticed me looking at her. I really looked away, but as I glanced back, she tried to flash me a friendly smile. She didn't look offended, which was a relief. Imagine any other noblewoman would use this as an excuse to have me thrown out. Actually, she seemed to be the only person in the room who wasn't disgusted by my presence. Maybe Celeste was right. I needed to learn to approach new people, and fate was giving me the opportunity. As I walked across the room, several nobles gave me the side eye. I was surrounded by several attendants who began to move to stop me from approaching her. Okay, 4th typo in this chapter. Lots of typos, what the fuck? However, she waved her hand to dismiss them. That was a good sign. Her attendants seemed to disapprove, but didn't raise any objection and left quietly. On a closer look, she seemed to be a noble of some renown, but she seemed to exhibit a modesty that some aristocrats lacked. She's actually quite beautiful. Not as beautiful as Celeste, but okay. What was I thinking? I shouldn't be objectifying them like that. Shut up. I need to keep my thoughts clear. I couldn't just... I realized I was just standing in front of her, soundly having this conversation with myself. I looked confused. I need to say something. How did normal people talk? Should I say a formal greeting, or would that just come off as pretentious? Maybe I should say something more casual, like Celeste would. I could make some kind of observation and connect with her somehow. Come on, Tyrion, just say something. Hey, my fellow blonde, what's going on? This memory would haunt me for the rest of my life. Hello. I cleared my throat. I'm sorry if I was staring. I was just daydreaming, I guess. Oh, that's okay. I wasn't staring at you. That's not to say that I wouldn't intentionally stare at you. Tyrion, what the hell are you saying? She's going to think you're a psychopath. Calibrate, change the subject. Social interactions occurred for the sake of engaging individuals in activities. 5th typo. What the fuck happened in this chapter? Did they let the intern write this run? What activity would someone do at the Lord's Ball? Would you like to dance? Tyrion, you don't know how to dance. Okay. Uh-oh, so that's gonna be jealous. Hey, Aster, what do you think of Arya's dress? It suits you quite well, Arya. You look lovely. Squeak? Gross. But I must say, Miss McCoy, I'm surprised to see you here. How do you get invited to the Lord's Ball? I'm just tagging along for one of Ruby's jobs. Oh, that explains why Mr. Cuthbert is here as well. Oh, Tyrion's back? Where is he? Her eyes in the ballroom until she found Tyrion. Who the hell is that? Oh, I believe that's Lady Frigga. That's strange. She usually rebukes most men who approach her. Oh, she does she? Yes, Tyrion's special for some reason. He never told me he could dance. There was someone along the dance floor. Crown Prince watched as Tyrion stepped on Lady Frigga's toe several times. I don't think he actually can. What would the Frigga want with Tyrion? She's up to something. Hey, what do you know about her? Arya was still staring blankly at the Crown Prince. It looked like she was running through several calculations in her head, but failing to arrive at anything. Another misstep caused me to step on her foot. I'm so sorry, I don't do this a lot. Or at all. It's okay, at least you're... She winced in pain as I accidentally kicked her foot again. I felt like I was slowly tripping away with a constant smile on her face. Okay, you didn't seem... It didn't seem like Tyrion was this socially unaware in the previous cases. He seemed pretty normal, honestly, usually. I don't know why he's acting like such a spurg right now. Perhaps you should follow my lead. I carefully looked downwards, watching to make sure I didn't accidentally pair her foot with mine. It honestly made it easier. Looking at her face presented its own distraction. I'm Tyrion, by the way. Yes, I'm aware. You've been in the paper a lot recently. Oh, I'm Laife of House Frigga. Oh! The middle child of William Frigga, she seems conflicted between her father's death and Beatrice's arrest for his murder. She's much kinder than Miriam. It's hard to believe they grew up in the same home. Of all the people I could have approached, I chose someone from one of the 4 pillar families. But she didn't seem too bothered. Why would she agree to dance with me if she knew who I was? I'm sorry for not bringing it up sooner. I can imagine you wouldn't want to associate with someone like me. No, it's just that I had a run-in with your sister a few months ago. I don't think she cares for me that much, and it sounds like we have something in common. Before she could finish that thought, she suddenly froze. I almost tripped as I avoided stepping on her foot again. She was staring wide-eyed at something behind me. Her breathing was quickening, and her hand began to squeeze my shoulder. I turned to look and saw Beatrice storming through the ballroom. Oh, she looks angry. Is that... I'm terribly sorry, I have to go. Without another word, she quickly left, hurrying after Beatrice. Did the two of them know each other? Did you get snubbed? Well, thank the scale lord, someone I actually know. So, who was that? She wore a usual approachable smile, but I could have sworn something about her tone was louder than usual. I was trying to talk to people, isn't that what you told me to do? Yeah, but I didn't mean that you should shoot your shot with a Frigga. You're going to tell me how you pulled that off. Do I have to? Yes. Sit down, I snuck you some bread rolls from the buffet. Oh, have you tried them? They're amazing. Yeah. I'm gonna stop here for now. Seems like there's gonna be more stuff happening before we actually get to the murder. So I guess when we get to the trial, we're gonna be from Tyrion's POV, and we're gonna like be the prosecution. That's interesting. I guess technically we did also prosecute in the last case of Spirit of Justice, right? In the first half, I think technically we were prosecuting as Apollo. I don't know, I forget. I don't know what the fuck this is about. Probably some case 5 nonsense. Honestly, you might just be the killer. If we're gonna prosecute the case, then it would only make sense that the defendant would actually be the killer. Either that or it's like Ruby or something. Would she kill someone? Maybe. The monkey's a character? What's the monkey's endgame? I wonder how these are gonna come into effect. They're armbands, not rings. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna stop here for now. See you next time for more shenanigans at the party. Alright, see ya.